So I was just told by my local feed store that all livestock shipments are going to be delayed indefinitely because they're non-essential, considered non-essential, and also pallets of feed, and other grains are going to be also delayed. Which I'm all pasture raised, so I'm not overly worried about that. So, but the livestock thing is a little that's a little discerning, especially for those people that are wanting to get ducks, chickens, pheasants, other type of sustainable animals. So I'm really glad that, I raise my own animals and I'm set up in that regard, but it's definitely going to be tough for those that aren't so lucky. So I kind of figured this was going to happen. So I went ahead and contacted my Shire Farms. Got 50 quail eggs I'm going to incubate, because the way I look at it, quail, if it's good enough for God's people wandering in the desert for 40 years, it is good enough for us. Also, big shout out to Slightly Redneck. He's done a lot of great videos on this, and I wanted to do it for a while, but this gave me a great excuse to go ahead and pull the trigger and get them. All right, look at that. Spraying them down with the Listerine, the original Listerine solution, half Listerine, half water. I just want to give my Shire Farms another shout out. When I opened my package of eggs, there were 60 instead of 50, so they added another 10 just for shipping and possibly incubation, so I really appreciate that. Now, let's open this up and show you what I got. And if you're asking why I went ahead and put the egg carton the way I did, it's because I had too many eggs. So instead of just putting them in the center and having to rotate them manually, opening up the incubator to the outside air, etc., I decided to put the egg carton in there just like that. Doing it that way, as you can see, they're not even on the eggs. They're barely sitting on the middle on each side of the rotator. They're not touching the eggs, and when it rotates, all the eggs inside the egg carton will rotate as well. So we'll see how it works. I'm kind of going off the fly here, but I have pretty good confidence as long as I keep the humidity and temperature levels where they need to be, and I can get it to self-rotate. I shouldn't have any issues with hatching. So why quail, you might be asking? Well, let me give you 7 good reasons why I chose to go with quail. Number 1, Coturnix quail are very cold hardy, which is very important, especially if you're in places where you can have and you can get freezing temperatures. It's really good to be able to have a meat source that you can raise year round. Number 2, they're not a very noisy bird. They're very quiet, which is really great if you live in the city limits. And even if you don't, here in the country, noise is not a huge problem, but it's nice to be able to have a bird that's not going to be super chirpy or, get on your nerves every time you turn around. Number 3, Coturnix quail, they're fast growers. They mature in 6 weeks. So between 6 and 8 weeks, they're going to reach their mature weight. So for the variety that I got through my Shire Farms, their birds routinely reach mature weights of 12 to 16 ounces, which is outstanding. Being able to get, 1 pound of bird every 6 to 8 weeks. I mean, you're going to be very hard pressed to find another form of poultry that you're going to be able to get turnaround times that quickly on. Number 4, Coturnix quails reach sexual maturity very early. At 6 weeks, they're already laying, and they can lay 300 eggs a year. So it's really hard to beat that productivity. Number 5, Coturnix quails are very easy to house. They don't require a lot of space, and they don't need any fancy coops. A simple wire cage will do just fine. Number 6, they have very fast incubation periods. Every 17 days, you can be hatching Coturnix quail, so you can see how they are such a prolific food source. I mean, you have a Coturnix female that can lay 300 eggs a year, and every 17 days, you can be hatching out new chicks. So realistically, if you had 11 laying hens, you're able to produce easily over 50 pounds of food every cycle. Every 6 to 8 weeks, you're producing over 50 pounds of food just off 10 laying hens and having plenty of eggs left over for your own consumption. So it's just another reason why they are such a prolific and awesome, readily available food source. Last but certainly not least is
the nutrient density of quail. Quail eggs, for example, have 3 to 4 times greater nutritional value than chicken eggs. Quail meat is going to be more dense in protein. So, overall, it's very easy to see why quail is such a great option. As you can see, quail scored high in every metric that we put it through, which just leads me to believe that I made a really good decision in going ahead and pulling the trigger, so to speak, and getting some fertilized eggs to incubate. I'm really excited about growing this food source out, especially in a time where there is so much uncertainty, there is so much confusion in the market. There are so many factors that are beyond our control. This is one way to really bring forth some stability and sustainability in your life. So I highly encourage you guys to look into it, do your own research, and see if they're going to be a great fit for you. Well, I hope you guys liked the video, and as always, long live the Republic.